There is a lake within an hour of almost every person in America, and every summer we walk straight into it without a second thought. You wade out until the bottom drops away and the water turns from clear to that green-brown you cannot see through. You let the kids jump off the dock. You float on your back with your ears under the surface and your eyes closed, trusting the whole thing completely, because a lake is where you go to relax. The ocean has sharks. The lake is safe. That is the deal. But the lake never signed that deal. The still, warm, freshwater lake is one of the most crowded hunting grounds in North America. And the reason you feel safe in it is not that nothing is there. It is that almost nothing there lets you see it coming. Today, we are counting down 13 things living in American lakes in numbers the people who swim in them would refuse to believe. Ranked not by which one is deadliest on paper, but by how completely we have trained ourselves to look at a flat, quiet lake and see nothing at all. And by the time we reach number 1, you will understand why the most dangerous thing in the water is the one you will never feel touch you. If this is the kind of thing that keeps your mind turning after dark, subscribe. Now it takes 2 seconds, and tell me one thing in the comments. What is the name of the lake or river closest to you? I want to see how far these reach. Now, let us get into the water. Number 13, the common snapping turtle. We start with the animal you have almost certainly shared a lake with already. The common snapping turtle lives in ponds, lakes, and slow rivers across almost the entire country, buried in the mud with only its eyes and nostrils above the silt. It can grow a shell over a foot long and pass 35 pounds, and its jaws close hard enough to take off a finger. Here is the denial. The turtle is the friendly animal. It is the cartoon, the slow, gentle thing a child draws. So a swimmer who feels something brush a leg in murky water thinks weeds, thinks a stick, thinks fish, and never once thinks of the flat, armored animal sitting motionless 3 feet down, watching a pale foot drift past. Number 13 belongs to the animal we filed under, harmless before we ever got in the water with it. Number 12, blue-green algae. Now to a predator with no eyes, no teeth, and no shape at all. Blue-green algae, properly called cyanobacteria, blooms across warm, nutrient-rich lakes every summer, turning the water a bright pea soup green or spreading a paint-like scum along the shore. Some of these blooms produce toxins that attack the liver and the nervous system. They have killed dogs within hours of a single swim, and they sicken people every year. The denial is that we read green water as dirty, not deadly. It looks like something you would not want to swim in, so people pull the kids out and move down the shoreline, never grasping that the pretty green swirl is a chemical event that can poison a full-grown dog before it reaches the car. Number 12 goes to the danger that hides by looking like nothing more than a dirty lake. Number 11, the quagga mussel. This one does not bite you. It rearranges the entire lake. The quagga mussel is a small invasive shellfish that arrived in the ballast water of ships and has since carpeted the bottoms of the Great Lakes and countless reservoirs in numbers beyond counting, coating every surface in razor-edge shells that slice bare feet open. But the real danger is what it does to the water itself. By filtering out the plankton at the base of the food chain, the quagga mussel makes the water eerily, beautifully clear, and that clarity is a lie. Clearer water lets sunlight drive deeper, which feeds exactly the kind of toxic algae we just talked about. The lake looks cleaner than ever and is quietly becoming more dangerous. Number 11 belongs to the invader that made the water prettier and worse at the same time. Number 10, the sea lamprey. Now to something that looks like it swam out of a nightmare. The sea lamprey is a long, eel-shaped fish with no jaw, just a round sucking disc of a mouth ringed with rows of hooked teeth and a rasping tongue. It latches onto a larger fish, grinds through the scales, and feeds on the blood and fluids of its host. It invaded the Great Lakes through shipping canals and collapsed entire native fish populations. The denial here is that people simply do not believe it is real. It belongs to the deep ocean in the imagination, not to a lake in Michigan. Lampreys rarely target humans, and that is exactly why this sits at number 10 rather than higher. But the sight of one attached to a fish a swimmer just caught is the kind of thing that ends lake swimming for a person permanently. Number 10 goes to the animal that looks impossible and is living in the Great Lakes right now. Number 9, the gray wolf. We move now from the water to the shoreline because the danger of a lake was never only under the surface. Across the northern lake country, from the forests around Lake Superior westward, the gray wolf has recovered into a real and growing population. An adult stands 3 feet at the shoulder and can travel enormous distances in a single night, hunting in coordinated packs. The denial is the postcard. People picture the northern lake as a place of loons and canoes and quiet mornings, not as territory walked by one of the continent's great pack predators. Wolves almost never approach people, which is why they sit here and not higher. But the camp on the lake, the dog off the leash at dusk, the assumption that the tree line is empty, all of it rests on not thinking about what actually owns that forest. Number 9 belongs to the predator on the shore we edited out of the picture. Number 8, the moose. Here is the one that surprises people most because it is not a predator at all. The moose is the largest animal in the northern lake country, standing up to 7 feet at the shoulder and weighing well over 1,000 pounds, and it spends its summers wading in the shallows of lakes and ponds, feeding on the plants along the bottom. The denial is that we file large plant eaters under gentle, but a moose injures more people in its range than bears and wolves combined because people walk right up to it, cornered, startled, or protecting a calf. A moose will strike with its full weight, and there is no outrunning it near the water. Number 8 goes to the giant we mistook for a peaceful part of the scenery. Number 7, the American alligator. We are right at the halfway mark, and if you are still here, you are clearly someone who actually wants to know what is under the surface. So hit subscribe if you have not yet, because from here, the list stops being something you can walk away from. Across the warm southern states, the American alligator does not merely visit lakes. It rules them. Some southern lakes hold staggering numbers of them. A single large Florida lake is estimated to be home to around 30,000 alligators, an adult passing 10 feet and moving through the water without a ripple. It is an ambush hunter that can hold at the surface for hours, indistinguishable from a floating log until the instant it is not. The denial that defines the gator is not that people think it is absent. Everyone knows it is there. It is the daily, load-bearing pretense that it does not matter, that the gator in the lake behind the houses is basically furniture, right up until a dog vanishes off the bank, or a swimmer wanders into water that was never theirs. Number 7 belongs to the animal an entire region has agreed to treat as background scenery. Number 6, the cottonmouth. Stay in that same warm southern water because it holds one more thing. The cottonmouth, also called the water moccasin, is the only venomous water snake across much of the American South, thick-bodied and dark, and it swims and basks in exactly the lakes, ponds, and slow rivers people wade into to cool off. Its venom is a genuine medical emergency that destroys blood cells and tissue. The denial is the wave of the hand. Every dark ripple, every S-shape cutting across the surface gets waved off as just a harmless water snake. Most of the time it is, but the cottonmouth is out there in the same water, and it will hold its ground when other snakes flee. Number 6 goes to the snake we have all agreed against the odds is probably nothing. Number 5, the bull shark. Now to the one nobody believes until they read it twice. There is a shark that swims into freshwater lakes, and it is one of the most aggressive on Earth. The bull shark can regulate the salt in its own body, which lets it leave the ocean and swim up rivers, and it has been recorded in the Mississippi River as far north as the outskirts of St. Louis. Females reach 11 feet and several hundred pounds. The denial here is the deepest one on the list because it is not denial at all. It is genuine disbelief. The entire mental model of a lake is built on one rule: there are no sharks here. So a shape moving in freshwater is filed under anything else: a big catfish, a log, a trick of the light, because the alternative is something the mind refuses to hold. Number 5 belongs to the predator that broke the one rule every swimmer counts on. Number 4, the alligator gar. Stay with that shape in the water, because there is something that looks far worse and has been here far longer. The alligator gar is one of the largest freshwater fish in North America, growing past 8 feet and 200 pounds, armored in hard diamond scales, with a long snout lined with 2 rows of needle teeth. It has haunted the rivers and lakes of the South since the age of the dinosaurs. The denial is that it looks like a monster and is treated like a myth. People who see one surface, gliding and prehistoric, assume it must be dangerous, and then are told it barely bothers humans, and so file it away as a curiosity. But that reflex, monster that turns out to be harmless, is exactly the reflex that gets people hurt when the next shape in the water is not harmless. Number 4 goes to the living fossil that trained us to relax at the sight of the wrong things. Number 3, the northern pike. Now to an animal you can actually be bitten by in ordinary northern lakes on an ordinary afternoon. The northern pike is a long, muscular ambush fish armed with rows of backward slanting razor teeth. It hangs motionless in the weeds and strikes with sudden explosive speed at anything that flashes and moves, which in the water includes fingers, toes, and the pale flicker of a swimmer's hand. The denial is that we think of a bite as coming from something big. Pike bites happen every year to swimmers and anglers who never saw the fish, only felt the sudden shocking slash across a hand or foot. It is not deadly, and that keeps it at number 3. But it is the animal on this list most likely to actually draw your blood in the kind of clear northern lake everyone assumes is completely safe. Number 3 belongs to the ordinary lakefish with a mouthful of razors. Number 2. Before we reach the top, understand what the number 1 on this list is not. It is not the biggest animal in the water. It is not the one with teeth. Number 2 is everything we have talked about so far combined, the whole visible menagerie of the lake, all of it easier to accept than what is coming, because at least you can see it. The most dangerous thing in an American lake is the one thing on this list you cannot see at all. Number 1, Naegleria fowleri, the brain-eating amoeba. Stay with me, because this is the honest answer, and it is backed by the Centers for Disease Control. Naegleria fowleri is a single-celled organism that lives in warm, still fresh water across the United States. It is invisible. There is no ripple, no shape, no dark form under the dock. It does nothing at all if you swallow it. It becomes deadly only in one specific way. When water goes up the nose, the amoeba can travel along the nerve from the nasal passage directly into the brain. What it causes is a brain infection called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, and the number that matters is this. More than 97% of the people who get it die, usually within about 5 days, and only a tiny handful of people have ever survived it. It is rare, with a small number of cases each year, and that rarity is real and worth holding on to. But it lives in exactly the water this whole list is about. The warm summer lake, the pond that has sat still and hot for weeks, the shallow water children dive into again and again, laughing, water rushing up their noses every time. And here is the denial that ties the entire list together. It is spreading north. For decades, this was thought of as a southern problem, but as freshwater warms, cases have appeared in states that never recorded them before. The thing we assumed lived somewhere else is showing up in the lake down the road. The Centers for Disease Control is clear that the risk to any one swimmer is very low, and that simple steps, keeping your head up, holding your nose, using a nose clip in warm, still water, sharply reduce it. This is not a reason to fear every lake. It is a reason to stop pretending the water is empty. Because that is the thread through all 13. We did not stop seeing these animals because they hid. The turtle, the gator, the shark that should not be there, the thing too small to see, they never left. And looking would mean changing how we spend every summer. So here is what to carry out of the water with you. The flat, quiet surface of a lake tells you almost nothing about what is holding still beneath it. And the calm you feel floating there was never a fact about the water. It was only ever a decision not to look. If this is the kind of thing that keeps your mind turning after dark, subscribe and stay with the channel. And tell me in the comments, what is the lake closest to you?